So we recently got some really interesting data from JP Morgan around checking and savings account balances. Well, why does that matter? And what does that have to do with the overall economy? Exactly. So what they did, JP Morgan looked at and released over across 9 million accounts. They looked at average balances of checking and savings accounts. And interestingly, the balances went way up in the early time of the pandemic, and they have been coming down over the last 2 years. But they said today's values are still 10 to 15% higher than pre-pandemic levels. So that gives us a really interesting data point around where we're headed as an economy and as a consumer and how that interrelates with inflation. Well, so you remember early days of the pandemic, right? A lot of government stimulus came into the picture. They wrote checks. They had PPP. So account balances skyrocketed. They were up, 25% in some instances, 30% on average in some instances. But since then, account balances have dwindled. So the account balances have come down maybe 20 to 25%, according to the recent article. So account balances have come down because inflation has become a bigger part, and people now can go out and spend money. They can travel. They can attend live events like sporting events and concerts, and they can eat out, things like that. So people are spending more. But interestingly, this extra cushion in these accounts is providing the economy with enough liquidity to kind of get through the tougher inflation and the tougher higher interest rates that we're faced. So where do we go from here is the big question. There is still a good cushion. It's still 10 to 15% higher than pre-pandemic levels, but we are actively eroding that extra cash. So the consumer doesn't have an infinite runway here where the consumer can keep on spending and preventing the economy from kind of tipping over into a recession. There's been a lot of talk around recessions. There's been a lot of fear that the Fed continuing to raise interest rates will cause a recession. But up to this point, we have not seen one. And I think this is a big reason why is Americans generally have a lot of cash that they can kind of combat inflation and combat that upcoming recession with. So an interesting data point. We'll continue to monitor it. But hey, thanks for watching. We'll keep you posted.